Hello and welcome to the Ink Archive. My name is Briar, and today I am joined with Tyler for another fun week of Whispers in the Well here at our locals games. Tyler, tell us what we got going on today.
Yeah, so today we're looking at Purple Steel or Amethyst Steel. A deck we've seen a couple weeks ago. Now deck is super interesting. It looks to play on curve, draw a bunch of cards, and keep doing it over and over. Their characters typically have pretty balanced stats or pretty they're pretty upstatted. Playing a lot of like 4/4s and 3/3s and 3/2s with resist, stuff like that. And a couple of ways like Shield Lore with Giant Cobra and the White Rose, stuff like that. So, but then we're looking at Racers on the other side, Amber, Ruby, Racers. We've seen the deck a couple of times. I think notably the last time we've seen it personally was at our set champs for Reign of Jafar. I think we saw somebody playing a pretty interesting Racers list. And it's got a couple of neat includes in Whispers of the Well, including like Get to Safety, Sleepy Hollow, and a couple other songs. I think there are a couple other locations in the song that they're playing. One of them from Tales, or Rewrite History, that returns a character from your discard to your hand, which gives them a way to like go get their mini mouse to find locations again, stuff like that. So the deck's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what Becca can pull up with these racers.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a very interesting match. I like the Racers deck. I think it's a very interesting way to kind of play some decks because, I mean, you get to have these Sugar Rush locations, the start line and the finish line, and those cards are really great combo pieces to kind of bounce off one each other to move your character over, and then taking that location, the finish line, being able to draw cards, gain some lore is a good way to kind of just help either literally get you to the finish line. It's a very fun card, and then now adding that Get to Safety to being able to play that card back from the discard is fantastic. I love that include in this deck. I think it's really fun, and I can't wait to see this happening and seeing what they can do with this deck.
Yeah, I think the other notable include that she has in this, as I was looking through the list here, she's got the new 3-cost Amber action, the Horseman Strikes, to just draw a card and banish the character with Evasive. Notably, pretty effective in this matchup where she wants to banish genies and friends that have Evasive, Dumbos, Elsas, so she has good targets for that action here.
Yeah, no, those are definitely a good card for this matchup here. And we see our 1-cost Taffeta come down as well as our 2-cost Taffeta, and we do see a shift one in hand. I mean, we saw her shift with this one quester, seeing if she's going to keep it around, but we do get to see, I think, the start line. I believe that's the start line in her hand, which is good here. So we can see this. Maybe she could start putting her racers at the start line, getting them ready to start this race. But we're seeing this Captain Hook. I mean, Amethyst Steel just doing the normal Amethyst Steel things, playing Captain Hook, then having this Calhoun, making it so it's going to be hard to quest with your characters. And it's going to be really hard to keep these locations down because these characters have 3 strength, and that can take care of a lot of the locations pretty quickly. I think one of them has 6 willpower on it, or I think 5 on there, and you have to take both characters challenging into this location, but it is still a hard card to deal, to kind of just, or not even a hard card to deal with. It's just an easy card to kind of just deal with these characters with high strength power.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to be really careful. I do know, so both of the speedways, the start line and the finish line, cost a combination of 3. So I think next turn she can actually get both of them down and pay the cost to move the character she has now over to the start line, and then activate the ability to move it to the finish line. So that's kind of cool that it'll take her a turn, but she'll just get to gain 3 and draw 3 off of it. And that'll be kind of cool if she can pull that off.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a great thing. I was hoping she might be able to keep the 1 cost and being able to shift into it the following turn, and then knowing that she was going to be able to potentially go into these start line and the finish line the following turn would be great, because that Taffeta shift does give you extra lore. when you get to move it to a location. So when you get to move that character, it gains you lore, which is a great way to help you get closer to that finish line and get you the most lore here. Now we do get to see the start line and the finish line coming out now. And we see the start line sending our taffeta to the finish line and now banishing it to draw the cards and gain 3 lure here. So we are going to be seeing the race begin.
Yeah, notable too. You were talking about that taffeta shift line. That that card on the border now is also another taffeta, though I'm not sure if she inked the shift taffeta or not. I didn't see if she did.
Yeah, I think she
So
still
she
had it
still
in
has
hand
the option
unless
to
if
like go
she
for the
inked
shift.
it this turn.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so she probably just determined that it's probably not worth it. I mean, she got to do the thing here, which is nice, and now he has to decide. Um, I guess he can take both things on the board out right now. Gets rid of the taffeta, and it can take care of this location while it's here. Notably, I will say the one of the cool things about the eraser deck that I'm looking at her list, I'm seeing, she's playing Get to Safety, which gets a location from the discard, and she's playing the Minnie Mouse, which also gets a location card from the discard, and she's playing the Islands it pulls from the sea, which gets a location from her deck, and she's playing Rewrite History to go get a character from her discard. So she has a lot of just like recursion to go get these locations and her discard back. So it's not like unheard of for her to go get these back, even though they're gone right now. Like it's kind of where she wants them.
Yeah, no, she has a lot of like really great cards that synergize really well to get these locations back out to the field, which is really nice. And it's quite interesting to see. I mean, she's been working on this deck for like the past few sets. In fact, I think she's even been working on it since the location's been originally came out, and it's been a very very cool thing to kind of see what she's been doing with this and what cards she's chose. And I think the list is very well done. I think it's well put together, and seeing what she can do with this is great. I love this. The start finish line combo is fantastic. But sadly, we might not see a lot of this coming down because we're going to be seeing this Hades trying to choose, making a deal with this taffeta and figuring out, is it going to go to the bottom of the deck, or are you going to let me draw 2 cards? And she chose to give him 2 cards, and sadly that gave him a strength here and still got rid of that character anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the strengths of Purple Steels. Like I said, all of its characters are like have decently high strength, and so trying to keep these locations on the board is going to be kind of a nightmare. And really has to figure out like the only time she's ever going to be able to get the combo off to do the thing is if she does it in the same turn, like we saw her do on turn 4. But after that, like you're never going to be able to safely play these locations. And I think right now her hand is so full of just a bunch of like actions and or like locations she just doesn't want to get down right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a rough match here just because of those characters just having so much strength is definitely a rough one. And trying to figure out how do we get rid of these characters, or how do we get to utilize these locations and abilities on these locations to gain you these lure and gain you these the draw cards efficiently, and being able to keep those on the board fairly quickly as well.
Gets orange board. Gets him down. This character's kind of cool. He's a 3 ink 1/2. When he comes down, each opponent loses 1 and gains 1. I think she's got ways to get this guy back and replay him a bunch. I kind of wish we saw more of this effect in Lorcana. I know like we have Pirate's Life and stuff, but I would like to see it more on the like characters and stuff. That would be kind of neat.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool little effect. Being able to gain lore, making your opponent lose one is a fun little effect here. I mean, we have Pirate's Life. I was gonna say we have Eye to Eye that we saw last week. But it doesn't really make your opponent lose anything. It actually makes them gain stuff. But there's ways to kind of play around with that. It is definitely a neat little thing. However, we do get to safety, bringing out this location again, and being able to play this taffeta. Now making your opponent lose one lore since you have a location, shifting this taffeta and moving it to the location here, and gaining some lore from that move.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing like I was talking about. Like, it's cool. The amount of incursion that she has and stuff is really really cool. It's just this matchup is going to be really really tough for her. I think she has like a good list nailed down, and I think if Racers just got like a little more support, I think like I said, like stuff like Orange Boar that um takes away their lore, hopefully like slowing the game down a bit for Racers to kind of catch up. Ironically, um, it that's like one of the things that it can struggle with, right? When your opponents like starts to go this wide, and you don't really have a way to contain them because you're also doing your own little like aggro plan. Um, you just don't have the ways to like keep your opponent under control because all of these cards are kind of underwhelming in terms of like power and strength.
Yeah, it is definitely. It's not trying to focus on anything what your opponent's doing. It is mainly focusing on your race. You're going to be focusing forward. You're not really worried about anything. What your opponent's doing. Any of the drivers next to you. You are focused on that start to that finish line, and that is all it's focused on. Which is kind of thematic, a little thematic here of just being a racer, focusing on that start and finish, and finding ways to get there quickly and surviving with it. But it's still a rough thing to do because you've got Purple Steel here that just says, I'm going to build a lot of strong characters, and if you can't answer them, well, sorry, but your race is going to be ending really quickly.
Yeah, it's an aggro deck that like gives your opponent a lot of opportunity to interact with you because you're relying so heavily on these locations. Whereas I think some of the other aggro decks we've seen in the past aren't so willing to let you interact or like have the agency to say, hey, you know what, this turn you're not going to interact with me, or decks with maybe something like Tiana that are just like, hey, you want to interact with me? Good luck. Racers just doesn't have a ton of that disruption, and I don't think Becca's on any Tianas, which I don't blame. I think the unakeable count in this deck is already kind of high, and so she just doesn't have room to play Tianas.
Yeah, no, the Tianas are definitely a strong card, but being that uninkable is definitely rough because there's already a lot of uninkables with the start and the finish line both being uninkable. You also have a couple of the actions in there that are uninkable as well. And then there's I think a couple other cards in there that are uninkable, and that you're racking up to 12 pretty quickly, if not 16, with just 4 different cards. And that's a lot of uninkables in a deck. I mean, we've seen Ember Steel aggro being able to play 21 uninkable and being okay, but this one's a little bit rougher because there's not a lot of great aggro options or ways to control the board with these colors, at least in cheap form anyway.
Well, I also just think that like racers need the ink more than I think like Amber Steel need it. This deck needs to get to like 4 or 5, somewhere in there, that ink range. Whereas other aggro decks we've seen only really need like 3, maybe 4. And so the fact that it just has a higher, it asks you, the player, to commit to inking more. It is just where it can get a little tough. Now, like we said, like we saw last game where she got to draw 3 cards because of the location, this deck does have, I wouldn't call it entirely reliable, but it does have card draw in it, and like ways to do it. And it's not like too hard to play both locations. It's just a matter of seeing both locations,
Yeah,
which
seeing
I think
both
we'll see
locations
for this
is
year.
can be rough, but we do get to see the start line here. Starting it off here, hoping to possibly see something else here. We're going to see the taffeta shifting in here and going ahead and getting to that start line, ready to go, and gaining some lore for being the first one to the start line.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wishes that you gain some more for the start line, finish line, but like I also think it might just be too strong. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're definitely very strong effects, having those. I mean, the nice thing is here is we do get this Fix It Felix, which kind of, I think this is the one that heals, I believe. I can't remember which one does. I know the shift one gives your locations extra willpower, which is great to have in a matchup like this. I don't know if she's playing those. I can't remember if she's playing the shift ones. And it looks like she is not playing the shift Fix It Felix.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking at it for you. The Fix It Felix she's playing is the other pretty good one for this deck. Is if you have a location in play to draw a card, so it does give her other ways to just draw cards since she wants to play locations anyway. But yeah, I mean this card's interesting. It's a 1/3. She's playing like Candy Drift to give it a draw card and give something +5 strength, and then after they rebanish him. Fix It Felix is like a prime target for that kind of effect. Where it's like, okay, he did his thing, he came down. If I can give it +5, make it a 6/3, and let it go to town on something, like I'm perfectly happy doing that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good option there. Just taking out, replacing itself, and which is really good. We're seeing, of course, this Taffeta challenge into the Calhoun, getting it off the board, so it's gonna be a little harder to, a little harder for Andrew here to gain some lore with that Calhoun. But we do still see, of course, Captain Hook, and we do get to see Black Heron here, which still have that 3 strength. And still being able to quest out pretty big here.
Yeah, now we see the Dumbo come down. This thing's gonna cause issues if she doesn't have an answer for it. But I think she has a Horseman Strikes in her hand, so that'll be pretty good for her.
Well, she did it, but she drew it.
I think she's just gotta slam it, and probably challenge the hook and just get rid of it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the best option here because Tuk Tuk here, I think, only has 2 strength. So challenging into this Captain Hook just to get it off the board is definitely a good option. But I mean, you could quest 2 and make your opponent kind of answer the board a little bit just so you can get closer to that finish line. But we may not see that happen quite often here or a lot. Or survive a lot. Man, we're going to see a strength come down, taking care of the Taffeta. The Black Heron is going to challenge into the, no, it's not going to toxic. Wait, it has evasive, even better. Then we're chilling with this Tuk Tuk.
The only reason I had said that it would be good to get rid of Captain Hook is because it would 2 for 1, but I forgot he has evasive, so as long as she keeps the evasive characters, she can at least start questing with this thing, though I still think I would want to get Captain Hook off the board.
Yeah, I agree, especially when it has 3 willpower.
Yeah, especially because nothing can hit it back. So at least she gets rid of something, but
we do get to see this Minnie Mouse coming down and grabbing back a location. And then Tuk Tuk still questing out, just going ahead and just quest and do its thing. But we're going to hope and see. Maybe she gets a draw into a finish line here because she did get the start line back to the hand. Maybe she can find this finish line and hope to see if she can draw some more cards here next.
I think this is one of those times where you have to let the Hades get rid of a card.
I agree. I think giving your opponent the 2 cards here is not fun. I mean, both is definitely a very hard choice, but I think you just got to give him the deal and give him your character. I think is the best option here. I mean, you may lose the Minnie Mouse being able to recur your characters, but you do have other options like more Minnie Mouse or even the get to safety, which is nice.
I mean, the Minnie Mouse had already kind of done its thing. I don't know. I just don't think she needed the Minnie Mouse anymore. She has more targets in her discard. She has the starting lane in her hand, but it's not doing her anything. Um, I just don't think she cared. Giving Purple Steel more cards is like he was only at like what 2 or something like that. So just
Yes,
giving them more cards is pretty scary. She was fighting on like not even terms, but she wasn't falling too far behind either until she gave him the Hades and let him draw 2 cards. That's the scariest thing she probably could have done right now. But we'll have to see if I mean if she starts challenging things, it might go in her favor here.
yeah, and we're starting to see her challenge in here, taking out this Captain Hook, and banishing it here, still being able to survive that challenge, and potentially sending something else into another character, or just going ahead and questing with this Minnie Mouse. But we see it challenging into the dock here and banishing it, and seeing what she is going to do next.
I mean, she can start trading with the board a little bit better now. Well, this Hades is going to make things harder, but I forgot this mini was a 3/2, so
Yeah, this mini is definitely strong. It's being that 3/2 is a good way to kind of help trade with some of these characters, and kind of banish them in that knockback here. But sadly, this Tuk Tuk is going to be banished from a Strength of Raging Fire, and then having this Hades challenge into the Minnie Mouse, and then having every character their quest is quite rough here. Being 12 for Andrew and 5 for Becca is looking a little rough.
yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with just erasers just don't have a ton of draw unless you see specifically location. But doing it only once, like you really need to start like chaining them together, or doing something. And only seeing it, even seeing it just once, like isn't quite enough for this deck, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely, it needs some good draw power in that early game. I mean, you can see it as early as turn 3, but it's definitely rough to kind of have out here. We do get to see this Demona here coming down, exerting all of their opponent's characters, and then having each player draw up to 3 cards if they are under 3 cards in their hand. So Beckett did get to draw 3 cards, which is nice, but I don't know if those 3 cards are really going to matter here, because he is just going to take out and challenge pretty much the whole board except for this, leaving the start line here. So hoping that maybe she doesn't draw into the finish line and into a character that she can play and move it and gain some lore here.
I mean, even if she commits to doing all that, she still can't get rid of all the characters on the board, so it's just not a big. He probably didn't even need to get rid of the Taffeta, but was doing it for safety. But
Yeah,
let's get a draw.
he's at 17 lore here. It's going to be a little rough. We do get to see the we do get to see the start line now, which is kind of funny. She can play it here and gain some lure and draw some cards, but I don't think that's going to get her anywhere close to victory.
She can't though. She can't move the fix to Felix.
Yes, she can, because the start line says 0. Oh yeah, you can't exert it. Never mind.
It just came down this turn, so she can't activate it.
Yeah, so she can't even do that. And then that's the game.
She got rid of the character. Yeah, I mean, I like even I know we'll post it later on the channel or whatever. Actually, we'll post it in the description. I like her deck list quite a bit. It is one of the more focused lists I've seen, which is nice. It's just lacking some of the power that other decks have right now, and also, I mean, we said it at the beginning, right? Like Purple or Amethyst Steel is just an uphill battle for this style of deck. Locations just aren't going to stick around. She doesn't have a way to like make combat or make challenges awkward like Purple Steel or Ruby Amethyst can, right? Like either of those decks play Calhoun, Hercules, and then they play location, and it's just kind of awkward. 'Cause it's like, well, I don't want to give up my card for nothing, or give them lore or whatever. Racers just doesn't have that opportunity, right? Like they're not. There's no way for them to really protect their locations. So she's just like, oh, I have to. Every time I find it, I have to like go for the combo and accept that I'm giving up both locations instead of just the one.
Yeah, that's the rough spot right now for this type of deck is just having low willpower on those locations and being able to be taken out pretty easily against Amethyst Steel or against Ruby Amethyst and some of these other decks that have some pretty strong characters. It's going to be rough to keep both of those locations, so you're going to have to bring those locations back every single turn, and it can get rough at times. But if you can keep it going and keeping those locations coming onto the field and just constantly doing your start and finish line, you can get to that finish line pretty quickly. Then get into that 20 lure very nicely. Just have to see a couple of cards and going through. But again, she did very well. She's done a lot of practice with this deck and a lot of time looking into this deck list, and it looks great. And I wish her luck, and hopefully it gets even better because I'm ready to see this. I'm ready to see this start and finish line get to one of the top tier deck maybe one day.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could just if they just print like a couple, like give it like one or two sets where they really give this deck some amount of support. Like, I think it could be fine. You know?
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are excited for it too. Let
Yeah.
us know down in the comments down below. What do you guys think of the Racers deck, and what do you guys think it needs for the deck to help this deck get to that top tier level? Let us know down in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed, make sure you click that like button and that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified of videos. Because we're gonna hope to see this deck maybe get to the end, and so get notified to hopefully maybe see that happen. But until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.